Hello, ghouls, gremlins, and ghosts. As you may already know, we at the Night Crew are headquartered in Washington State, where we have many historic sites of paranormal activity associated with industrial accidents, serial killings, maritime disasters, and the usual sanitarium and prison hauntings to boot. The city of Black Diamond has a haunted history of its own. Although it was only officially incorporated in 1959, Black Diamond was originally settled by Europeans who worked as coal miners. There were even some immigrants of Asian and Australian descent known to work the mines before World War I, when it was shut down for good. Over the course of the many years it was in operation, numerous mining accidents resulted in senseless injuries and deaths. Could the spirits of those departed still wander the town's historic sites? Locals seem to think so. A nearby antique store is said to house the spirit of a deceased woman who interacts with customers and employees. A gathering hall of a local Nicholls branch is host to more mysterious occurrences, which included a physical sighting. Lastly, the town cemetery boasts some of the most radical paranormal claims we've uncovered, and would eventually prove to be a treasure trove of evidence and even more questions. The old train depot turned museum is where our journey started. We met with some locals who had a lot to say about the history of the town and its mining operations. The train that ran from there would deliver coal to Seattle, where it was distributed up and down the coast to California, Oregon, and northern parts of Washington. Miners would have a portion of their paycheck deducted as a cemetery fee to fund their burial at Black Diamond Cemetery. Many of the rumors surrounding the cemetery include floating lanterns, whistling miners, and even a phantom horse. But these are not all substantiated, as many other paranormal groups have attempted to gather evidence, and not all were successful. The presence of fog in mysterious patterns could be attributed to a well-known phenomenon called will-o'-the-wisp, by which lowlands, marsh, and otherwise swamp-like environments can become foggy due to natural gas. One of the most notorious and fatal mining disasters in history occurred at the nearby town of Franklin, where a fire took the lives of nearly 40 miners. It was suggested by a jury that the fire was intentionally set, although this was not confirmed, as there were no suspects. However, a vent fan was shut off during the fire either intentionally or due to negligence, which led to a further loss of lives as a result of the disaster. In 1910, a separate incident took place in Black Diamond at the Lawson mine, in which an explosion took the lives of 16 miners. The cause of this disaster is likewise still a mystery. Nonetheless, the allure of a good ghost hunt is too much to resist, and we took every effort to get in touch with as many locals as we could before embarking on this investigation. We were unable to gain entry to the antique store due to fear that it would entice the spirit into more activity, or worse yet, to leave altogether. We tried to approach each case with care, courage, and compassion. When we arrived at Black Diamond for the first time, we were greeted by the humble and open arms of several local witnesses and experts who were more than willing to share their time and experiences with us, for which we are very grateful. Get ready for a ride into the mines of the past, where the dead are still among us and mystery calls at each bend in the track. I'm Carolyn Nicholls, and we are the night crew. Definitely a bit off the beaten path.
We're getting taken over by 10 trails.
10 trails?
Yes, they I wish they were a separate city.
Every year it seems like there's always...
Dad came over at 18 and he made him a fire boss after Boston Mine. And so I went after him, well, how do you work with a guy that speaks Polish or something? Then we have 2 sticks. He pulls one stick out like this and they pull the other one out there. That's where they drill for the coal. And then here. And that's how they did it. Sign language.
Yeah?
And it worked fine. But they picked up the English language pretty quick, you know, broken English, but they got it. Yeah. That's how they did it.
Like kind of like Spanglish, you just kind of use what you got.
Yeah, that's very true, yeah. And pretty soon they're fine and coal. Nothing but work.
Yeah, hard work.
Yeah,
tough people back then.
You know, nowadays there's buttons and all that. Those days it's all right here.
Yes.
This guy slept in the cemetery one night with all these ghost hunters.
Did you now?
Yes. What did they do wrong?
No, not
He
a
sounds like me.
What is your name, sir?
I'm Bob Dobson. I'm the photographer for the museum.
Wonderful.
Nice. Official.
Official photographer.
I got it.
Thank you, Mayor.
We gotta get a badge for you.
Oh, I don't need a badge.
You look very official with the camera around your neck.
Yes, I always have a camera. This is my wonderful Fuji.
How many cameras do you have?
About 60. That they all get used and work.
Yeah.
Would you share a little bit about your experience sleeping in the cemetery with us?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Is it okay if we get it on camera?
Yes.
Thank you.
Camera recording.
I was the photographer for the Washington State Ghost Society, which is no longer in function. But
I was wondering why I couldn't find their site anymore.
yes, they had some internal problems, like a lot of clubs do, and left. But we investigated all the buildings here. Besides the cemetery, we investigated the hardware store, the antique store, the depot, and then also the Eagles, along with the cemetery. Did I see any ghosts? No. Did I witness paranormal events? Yes.
Okay. Would you care to elaborate?
One in particular is there was the Lawson mine disaster, and Don can tell you about that. But the survivor, or the people that died are buried in our cemetery down there. The mine boss, the fire boss, is separate. He's buried separately from the almost unidentifiable people that were in the mine. He had gone down the mine, said it was okay, and then returned, sent the crew down, and it exploded on his way down. But he was the only one recognizable, as I was told. So I just thought it would be interesting to set up my camera, film cameras, vintage film cameras, and ask some questions to him. I asked him 5 or 6 questions. When I asked him what did it feel like to be killing? I mean, you didn't do your job. Nothing. I got no answers, of course, and nothing. However, when I developed my pictures, I would ask a question, shoot a shot, ask a question, shoot a shot. The first 5 were just fine. The last 2 questions, the statue is tilted over at an angle on the film.
Wow.
Without moving anything.
Right.
Which I have
That's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a paranormal event.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There is, there's been events here at this museum from way back. We studied I mean, there's so much history here. We have our own little ghosts, so to speak. The antique store has its own separate little, paranormal ghosts that shadow people, run back and forth that people see. The Eagles over here, which has been, it was many, many things over the years, but it's got a shadow man that comes out of the beer room and goes back and uses the ladies' restroom. I had quite a paranormal event there the night I slept there with the team, or stayed with them. Coming from the back of the building, the interior of that thing is moving walls so they can make different size rooms. And the Eagles, we have a big chair for the grand poobah, so to speak. And all the walls were open. You don't normally get to see the Eagles meeting area. It's a secretive society. And as I was coming out of the back, I looked to my left and I saw a woman sitting in this chair. And I thought, that's unusual. We're closed. There's nobody in the building except us. And I turned around, and the head of our ghost society was smiling at me, and he said, "You saw her too, didn't you?" So, yes, that's a paranormal event.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What we have here is an 1885 depot. We started, it was just a little platform, and then a few years later they made a roofed over area, and they've added 2 more times to it. But this is the way it was most of our life. What we have here, this is a jail, and it was our original jail. But if you spend a night there, it'd be so damn cold you wouldn't ever want to come back. 1933, they put the bridge into Enumclaw, and so we started to take our prisoners to their jail. And some lady had this taken down to her house, and from some 40 years, it was a chicken coop.
Oh my goodness.
When we started the museum, we brought it back up and restored it. And it's just like it was. Okay. This town, and every town in the 1880s, 1910, 1915, there were no fire plugs. There were no fire trucks, and we had volunteer firemen, and that was their building there. And on top of this store, that's the original store, the grill, was a siren. Comes every year, and they like that. They really like that.
I'm sure it's their favorite part.
Okay, now, these names on this plaque, they're in alphabetical, and these are the people that the Washington State Mine Inspector put out every year. Who died, and description of it. Who got hurt, description. and it's alphabetic, so you can find it. Now, here's one problem. Guy got hurt in the mine. They took him to the hospital in Seattle. He died. He's not on the wall because he didn't die in the mines. There was a guy up here, a coal miner, for 7 years he was in bed. He died, and they wanted him on the wall. He didn't die in the mine. We couldn't start changing, you know. And the bricks down here, people donate $100 and put their names or their descendants or whatever they want on it. Now, you have a railroad here. This was the main line, and our biggest mine was just down about 600-700 yards. And our coal went down to Seattle, put it on ships, and took around to San Francisco to heat homes. Our coal here in Black Diamond was high, low in sulfur and low in ashes. So it was good stuff in houses. And all these little towns up on the hillsides here had to have a spur down here to our main line because there were no trucks in those days. And when they took our coal to Seattle, they put it in a cart and a horse takes it to each house and unload it. But that's what they did. And we were fortunate to have this thing right here. This was the center of town. The mail came in here, and the man that managed the depot took care of the mail. He took care of the packages coming in, the amount of coal going out. He did everything. And people would come down here in the summer to see the train that came in that evening, to see and get their newspaper and mail and stuff, but just to see if they knew anybody getting off. I mean, and so this was a popular place in town.
And it sounds like the person that ran the depot held a very important position in the community.
You better believe it. The men in those days worked 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. There were no trains on Sunday, so he had a day off too. So it worked out. And he lived here with his wife and kids. And when we go inside, I'll explain that.
Were you involved in the mining operations here?
Zero.
None? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just a volunteer here.
Okay.
Are you native to Black Diamond?
Nope.
What can you tell us a little about the history of you and Black Diamond? When did you come here?
I lived in Kent.
Okay.
And my sons were 6 and 8, and we dropped down through the woods. We were up in the hill valley here, and there was a pioneer cemetery there. And my kids and I got down through the weeds and went to look at the cemetery because you couldn't drive to it because the road was out here. There was a gravel road into this house with a barn, and the cemetery was on his property, so we had to come in the back door. And there's a grave there of this guy that was killed in the Franklin mines. Well, where in the heck is Franklin? You never heard of him. So we came in to the library, and I asked the clerk, "Where's Franklin?" And this older guy here was at the counter, said, "Oh, I'll take you up there." So he took my wife and 2 boys and I up to Franklin, and I've been going up there ever since. I have the honorary title of Mayor of Franklin.
That's awesome.
And we do 2 tours a year, at least up until the virus. And one of the tours we had 235 people.
Oh my goodness!
But then after a while, you know, this was 45 years ago. More than that. The locals all went, and so we were having about 100 people on 2 tours a year.
Are those still being conducted?
No, but we have a member here that takes people up. The Blackberries have taken over.
Yeah, we talked about that.
You can't see beams up there anymore, but it's got a great history. And one of the items about Franklin is that about 1895, plus or minus 5 or 6 years, they had a big strike, and they went, and the union couldn't settle it. They couldn't settle it, so they told the boss of the mine, "You get rid of this other guy that negotiates from you, maybe we can settle something. So they got rid of him, and they talked more and talked more and talked more. Well, he went back to Iowa and Missouri and recruited 500 black people to come out, and they came over the mountains, and they hiked 3 miles. They stopped the train into Franklin, and you know what? The kids went to school with white kids, with nowhere else in America, United States. They say the blacks shared the saloon with the whites. They made the same pay. Wow. And they worked right with the black and white miners. Nowhere else in the United States in the 1890s did they do that. It was.
That is awesome. A very, very proud part of the history of this area.
It is. And when they had a big layoff, they didn't lay off the blacks first. No, they laid off the guys that weren't producing as much. They kept the good guys. Of the mine, this was his front room. His bedroom was here. Where she was, it was the kitchen, and then there were another bedroom over there, and his family lived here. So it was a good place here. Now, see this big hotel?
Yes.
This was in the parking lot across the street. Oh. Here it is after it burned down.
Wow.
Remember I said, and this little store here is still there.
As I say, is that across the street?
Yeah, but the other buildings all burnt down. Okay.
So was it suspected arson?
No, it was always the heated with coal. Each room had one in the hotel. Okay, can you show this drill here at the second one? Okay, this is a breastplate on the left side there, and you'd have a wall of coal when you pull it out, and you put dynamite in. And wow. In the old days, it had fuses coming out, and you'd lit them.
And ran.
Who in the hell would you go check them out? It didn't go off.
You did rock, paper, scissors.
Well, then later on, you got the wires and the plunger. Made a big difference.
I'm sure that improved safety quite a lot.
Oh, big time. Okay, the kids raise canaries. Here's a nice cage. And the fire boss, who was manager, supervisor of that trip, or that day, somebody smelled gas. He'd get everybody out. He goes up to a kid's house, and he has a little cage. He gets the kid's canary, puts it in there, and he walks down the gangway. And canaries' lungs are so small, they would keel over way before a human. If it keels over, he gets out, they flush air. He might go up to another kid's house and get his. Kids were not in love with these. These were saving somebody's life, maybe their dad,
right,
or neighbor, and he'd do it again. Okay. Hello.
Chase us out of your way. Are you taking these folks through?
You're filming this.
Yeah, we'll stay out of the way.
Okay, come. Okay, let's go over here. The first people here were Welsh. They mined in Wales, and they spoke English. Boy, that was great, and they were good workers. But this is 1885, 30 years. They did not want their kids in the mine, so when they got high school age, they got them into Seattle to private schools, hoping they wouldn't come back. Now, the Italians came next, about the turn of the century. A couple came, and pretty soon more men came. You take this Italian guy living on his grandpa's farm, and his mom and dad are there, and he's got 4 brothers. How are you going to keep splitting that up? Go to America. So they came here, they worked 3 or 4 years, saved up the money, paid the passage for their family by boat to New York, train to Seattle. And pretty soon more came, but they'd never been in a mine. They didn't speak English, but they were good workers. And then more came and more came. The Welshers, there are very few of them. We still have all kind of Italian families. This room we've added.
I thought it looked a little larger than it did in the photos.
We added this, and we talked to people from churches and senior centers here, and I usually do that. But these are just pictures of various families here.
Some of the prominent citizens.
How do you like our first TV set in Black Diamond?
Oh my goodness. The first television in Black Diamond.
Yeah.
What year is that from?
I do not know.
I will tell you, if that was something that my grandmother would use, even when the TV dies, it's still a piece of furniture.
Absolutely.
These are just various. If I tell people if the name ends in a vowel, it's usually Italian.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, I love how the pictures have that like curve to them.
Yes.
Yeah, that was early 1900s.
You just don't see that at all.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Anymore.
You don't see any smiling.
Right?
Well, they had
Everybody's
to they had to sit still, right?
Yeah.
For the
so
exposure.
long.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to hold a smile that long, right?
Old Edison.
Of course, some of these are paintings, and you're like, well, you know, maybe they wanted it to look like a picture, which they didn't smile in pictures. So.
I feel like when photos were such a new thing, people took them so very seriously. They felt like it was serious business. And maybe this is just my own personal thoughts or something I've read somewhere, but...
Well, Don's
Don's on...
This is coal miner's pick.
Wow.
The garden picks that people have now are so heavy, and just a thin piece here is sufficient to do it. And you know, you do this all day long. A couple pounds make a difference.
Would it be okay if I felt how heavy it is, or am I not allowed to touch?
Go ahead. It's still heavy.
But not like a garden pick or something of that nature, like you were saying.
Yeah.
And so has this artifact I'm holding in my hands actually mined coal in the area?
You better believe it. You better believe it. So. Here's Black Diamond. These are the mines.
Okay.
Franklin here.
So Franklin, if I read correctly, wasn't that big explosion that happened and killed 37 miners at the time the biggest mining accident in the U.S.?
Oh, not in the U.S.
Okay, maybe it was just in this area?
Washington.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's why I'm asking you. I know you're the expert and I'm not.
Well, we don't want to be in the cemetery business. We'll give you this cost here. You take care of it.
He's got him. I'm going to talk to you because I know you're on a limited time schedule.
Welcome to the most haunted cemetery
Yeah, we
in
saw
the
that.
state.
Yeah, and
I think, maybe.
I'm still wondering how it got that title.
I've been photographing here for, 30 years,
Wow.
and there's been a lot of unique experiences happen here. The main thing that you read about is people have seen horses
Yeah, we heard about
running,
the Phantom
the
Horse.
miners' lights swinging, coming from that way over that direction, which is where
Okay.
mine number 11 is. That's one of the deepest coal mines in America.
Wow.
It went 6,000 feet on a diagonal plus down with tunnels off of every possible way. So we're standing on top of dozens of mine tunnels.
That's
easily.
crazy.
And I think that may be what brings the town. The town is totally it sits on top of hundreds of miles of clear empty.
Right.
This place is I'm still in the Marine Corps Reserves. I teach photography class at the Veterans Hospital down in Tacoma. And I bring veterans out here and we'll shoot. A lot of the guys that I deal with have TBIs, traumatic brain injuries. And giving them a camera with film camera and talking with them and taking shots, you have to slow down to shoot film. And it's very interesting. But several of them have, like over here where I can show you, this is an interesting, I like the older, the rails around the graves.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
are original. Those aren't newer. Some of them are, the silver painted ones are, but they did that in the olden days because they had to keep the animals out. The cows would stomp on there, the horses would come through here.
They don't care. It's just food.
Yeah, they just stomped on the graves, and so
This one's interesting, but the two back here, I've had several mediums with me in here in various times, and they ask me the same thing. They say, Bob, there's a lady stands between those two and wants to know why you're not taking her photograph.
Now, which ones?
These two over here. And I have no idea. I've shot a lot of photographs of these things. I think the metal, the iron work is amazing.
Right.
But I've had two of the young TBI veterans
Right.
say, hey Bob, why aren't you, there's a person standing in here talking to you. You don't see her or hear her? And I go, no, I don't. But they do.
Huh.
And I don't discount that. Your brain is an interesting place. I'm not a medium. I've been around several really positive, good mediums, but I am a sensitive person. I feel drawn to places to photograph for various reasons. Never. Right. And then I find out why from talking with the mediums and such. But also photography, in my eyes, it shows you things you can't see. You
right.
Take a photograph and then you look at it and you go, what the heck? There's faces in here showing out,
right.
You know, and I don't see them right now, but when you look at the photograph, there's faces looking back at you through the photograph. And I've never seen any ghosts in here, lights or horses or things, but I have the paranormal stuff is strange. I set up a camera over, like I said, over on the mine boss's his stone. Shot like 8 things, asking the questions, a question, and then I'd click the thing. 5 of them were vertical. The last 2, the stones were tilted over. With no change in the.
But not in reality, it was just in the picture.
That is a phenomena. That's a paranormal activity. How did they influence something? There's at various times when you walk through the cemetery, there'll be things hanging in the trees, like chains and medallions and sparkling things, very much like the Blair Witch type thing. And then they're gone. I don't know why people do that, but this cemetery has been investigated time after time.
Yeah, I read one from back in, I think it was your group actually, from 2011 maybe?
Probably.
And then there was a more recent one in 2020 from CPI, Cascadia Paranormal Investigations. We reached out to them, and they did a whole news article. That's what Don gave us a printout of. And we reached out to them, and it was like they didn't really find anything. They just had experiences. So maybe that's some of the things is I feel like when the spirits are playing with you, we're not going to let you catch us, but we're going to let you know we're here.
There's a couple of really fine mediums in the local area. One of them who would refuse to come in here into the cemetery because he's an active, I think. He sees everything all the time. But I asked him if he would come in with me because I was looking, the prior historian at our historical society said they buried small children outside, if they might have been an ethnic, a black child or an Indian child or a Chinese child. They didn't bury them in the cemetery, they buried them outside. And I asked him, can you help me? Can you see them? And he stood up there and he just started shaking and he goes, I see 5 or 6 or 7 children over there. And he pointed to a spot on the other side of the fence. The city apparently one day will do a ground.
Oh, the ground penetrating radar.
Right, and I have no idea. You wouldn't find anything, but you don't know. And these are just the questions that I want to know. Why am I drawn? I think I'm drawn to the metal. It's old iron. These are from you know, the early 1900s. So we got a lot of metal in your blood, so you're drawn to iron. The day that I did shoot the fire bosses, as I was walking out of the cemetery up the main road, a shadow came around just a shadow came around one of the stones up there.
So you saw that?
I felt it peripherally, a shadow, like a shadow man type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see any shape or form, but a shadow, which I thought was interesting because that was the side that was lit was this side, not the other side.
Right.
So as a Marine, I'm trained to, you know, defend myself.
Right.
And I just, when the hairs go up on your neck, you know you're ready to fight, and
Yep.
you don't know why.
Yep.
Other than something it's the fight or flight type situation. So it didn't scare me, but it felt threatening, and I don't know what it was. However, the mediums as a whole will tell you, why would a dead person stay here? Why would a spirit come back to a cemetery? There's no parties in the cemetery. There's no fun. They go to places that they enjoyed, and like the antique store, the Eagles Hall, places like that.
I'm of the theory that it's almost like abandonment issues. They feel like, okay, my body's right there. It's not, you know, they're in denial. You know, so I think some of them, not all. You know, I feel like some spirits are just in denial of being dead. You know, and that's maybe why they have a, you know, unfinished business, so to speak.
Exactly. No.
So.
But I just wonder why they would. I'm a Fuji camera guy. I have another Fuji camera, and it's got software in it that will identify anomalies. These, when you push the button, it shoots out an infrared ray. When it hits something, it brings it back to focus. And it'll light up a square, whatever, something like that.
I personally would love to hear about when you spent the night here.
Nothing happened.
Okay.
That story isn't much of a story.
Okay.
I don't think you have to wait for night for things to happen. I'm drawn to things I have no idea. I believe that because this, about a quarter of a mile, maybe a third of a mile that way, is mine number 11, the deepest coal mine that was in America for years and years and years, over 6,000 feet down on an angle.
Just hearing you say that makes me so claustrophobic.
Well, it was one of the largest mines, and so it went that way, and so there's tunnels spread out for layered down, and many of the tunnels are still open.
So are we possibly on top of tunnels?
No, we're not possibly. We are on top of tunnels. The whole city is on top of tunnels.
Okay.
The thing is, I think that has a lot to do with why this has sort of a mystical feel to it. They say that low frequencies affect our pituitary, which makes us have fear and things like that. So if a rock drops and it's 1,000-yard tunnel and it echoes back and forth at a super low frequency, maybe that has something to do with what your brain activates.
Right.
But I have never seen the flashing lights or the horses walking.
I was just going to ask about the phantom horses. Can you tell me a little about
I can. The town kind of sits like this. The main mine was over there on Palmer Coking Coal thing. But down back in this swamp was homes of the poorer immigrant miners. If you look at the things, there's very few English names in here. They're all, the majority of them are European and Scandinavian names and such. So a lot of poorer people live down in the swamp areas, and that's what I've heard, and talking with a couple of the older ghost hunter groups. When I didn't really want to be necessarily part of the ghost hunters thing, but they asked me if I would for just the town, and so I joined them. It took a year to do the town. They were amazing people. The Washington State Ghost Society was amazing people, engineers, two of the best mediums I've ever met, that no bull. They were so powerful that when I would focus my camera on them, when they would go into a trance, camera can't focus because you're literally putting off waves. That's a fact. You know?
Yeah.
I sense that you're probably a medium.
I have always been pretty sensitive to phenomena, and have actually lived in a couple homes that were very haunted. As I was telling my cohorts here on the way out, I definitely believe. I also have doubts about some people and some claims they make, but a lot of the things that you're saying ring very true with me and make a lot of sense, like the tunnels and the iron. And to me, that's not to debunk phenomena. That's just all part of it.
Oh no, that to me that enhances it.
Absolutely, that rock that drops in that tunnel 1,000 feet below us. Who's to say that some old miner didn't throw that rock to get our attention in that manner? And so, yeah, the things you're saying, I'm definitely a believer, and I want to learn more. I'm very new to ghost hunting per se, and haven't been on an actual investigation yet because we've just started. We've only done 2. This will be our 3rd. And but I'm open to all of it.
It's really interesting. The people that I worked with were incredibly intelligent. They had David had David was an electronics expert, did all the sound. He had amazing sound things, and the bites that he did. He has a white noise programs on his computers, and when he boils it down, you start believing because you start hearing things on there.
Right.
You hear train whistles coming in at the station, and it's interesting.
Have you ever heard whistling, like the whistling of miners in the
I have
cemetery?
not. The main thing that happened here was, it's often when I come here, there's very few people. I was here one evening, and you park up there, and you can see where there's one. My truck, that was it. And a man came walking up out of the thing, and he talked to me. Came walking up the road. He was a young man, and he said, "Oh, hi, you're the Bob. You're the guy." Yeah. Oh, I've got something you need. I never saw him before, had no idea who he was. So we walked up. There was no truck there when I had looked. Now there was a brown truck parked farther over. Wasn't there, honestly, when I looked. He said, "I have what you've been looking for." He opened up the passenger thing and pulled out a handful of about 25 or 35 Polaroid pictures of what had been taken at the Morgansville Tavern.
Okay, we saw the bar from that tavern, didn't we, in the museum?
Right, and he said, and I thought, I hadn't talked to anyone about my interest in the Morgansville, and I said, well, the lady that owns it, we're standing out there, you can see it from the parking lot, the tavern. And I said, why don't you take him over there? And he said, she's been looking for these. How he knew, I have no idea. how he knew I was looking for him, I really have no idea. And so he said, I can't do it. But I'll give them to you, and you do whatever you want. He gave me this. I said, well, okay, may I take your photograph? Sure. So I took a photograph up against that tree, and then we parted ways. The pictures were from 1970s. So there was pictures of the bar when before it got robbed. And that's what a project I've been working on for the museum.
Wow.
That's a phenomenal act.
But the hair's kind of standing up on my arms as you're telling me this.
Okay, if you want to really, I'll take you down. I asked him, I said, why, what, he said, when he started to leave, he said, would you like me to show you my grave? Well, now I'm thinking, is he alive or am I hallucinating? I said,
or is he messing with me?
Yeah. And so he took me down on the wall down here.
Would you show me?
Sure. He pointed out his grave. But there's, these are the interesting phenomena.
Exactly.
Was he a ghost? No. He was a human, but alive person. But how did he know I was interested in that? That's what I want to know. I've never seen him before or since.
And what is it about the encounter that makes you so sure that he was a live human being?
Well,
and not something else.
You photographed him?
Photographed him up against the tree.
Did he give you his name?
Pod tree. He did, but it wasn't the real name. His real name is down here.
He showed you his grave?
Yes. He's not in it yet.
Oh, okay.
That's why I suspect he was down here. His brother.
That makes more sense then.
He was down here. But a lot of times this tree will have stuff. It'll have things hanging from it, stuffed in it.
Like what kind of thing?
Well, like there's a cross stuffed in there.
Oh, okay.
It'll have chains.
Like mementos and things that people...
like Blair Witch, really.
Creepier version then. Huh.
That's who he didn't tell me his name, but that's who I found out who it was. He told me that he'd been a bartender at the bar, and he'd been a bartender at another bar, but he didn't tell me that name.
Accurate?
Accurate. And I, kind of did, after he left, I came down, he said he was visiting his brother, so I thought, well, maybe that is. And then I started asking people in town, do they know him? No, nobody knew him. However, when you type that name into the internet, he's a wanted criminal.
Maybe that's why he couldn't take the photos over there and stuff.
Maybe.
What was he wanted for, do you remember?
He beat up his girlfriend and threatened her life, threatened to kill her right across the street over here.
What scum.
Yeah, he's not a nice man. However, it was a King 5. The very first thing comes up on him was King 5 report. And it was several years old. He looked like he had been maybe in prison. He had the tan and the short hair. But he wouldn't tell me his name. He kept changing his name to suit whatever he would. But the thing
because he was wanted.
Yeah, but the thing that really, and I understand that, but how did he know I was interested?
Right.
How do you know you were going to be there?
Right.
Exactly.
And and I have puzzled that many times. I thought, I don't wear a sign that says I'm the photographer for the museum. It's like, I am who I am, but I have never seen him before or since.
All right, let it be known that I have full battery right now, okay? So my batteries are full. I haven't turned on the lights yet. Dutch, are you gonna give the intro?
Here in a second.
Okay.
My phone is at 96%. We'll see how it is after a few minutes in here. The last time it went dead quick.
Want to do it over here at the gate?
Yeah.
So here we are tonight. Got myself, Dutch Jackson, Brad Olsen, we got Lauren Green, we got Carolyn Nicholls, we got 4 of our team members out here to do an investigation of the Black Diamond Cemetery. And this is a cemetery that's been around for quite a while. It was mainly a mining community back in the day, and from another investigator we learned that there's tons of tunnels all over here, under the grounds, all over in Black Diamond, from everywhere that they used to mine for coal back in the day. So we've gotten a lot of stories that we're going to try to maybe connect with some of the spirits tonight. Apparitions, specters, voices. So, here's hoping. Once again, I'm Dutch Jackson. Welcome to the Night Crew. Set this here for a minute. And probably good enough spot as any. Going. Well, we're recording, so we're good. Right on this headstone.
It's not really picking up the background on your screen. Is that just because there's not enough light?
Yeah. I was trying to keep the light down, but
yeah, I might have to crank it up so that it can even be.
Is there anybody here who wants to talk to us? Feel free. We're just here to listen to you. It's stretching arms and legs out everywhere. Are you one of the miners that passed away here? What's your name? It's almost like he's hanging his head, just kind of depressed.
Yeah, you get this a lot in cemeteries, you know. You get it a lot where you see them and they're on the headstone. Mm-hmm. That's how it was at the first investigation we did together. where they were all pretty much on the headstone, and they wouldn't leave the headstone. They would just stay there.
What's the name on the headstone?
Walter Wilkinson.
Walter, is this you?
There's also Edwin Wilkinson.
Or Edwin? We're just here to hear your story, so feel free to talk into this microphone.
There's a lot of like activity right now in this cemetery. There's a road beside us that's pretty active. It's pretty close to rush hour, so people are getting off work from their jobs and returning home. There are some people just getting home, it sounds like. There's a neighborhood around this cemetery. It's definitely not that secluded right now, but there's very little light. There's like no light, actually, except there's a few street lights on the outside, but there's no way to really see about. It's kind of hard to believe that people were able to get in here and, you know, at night and do like ritual work in the dark like this, but I guess that's what headlamps are for, right? Sounds like some laughing. Yeah, there's like people over there.
Yeah, there's, in Lauren's bag, we've got the coffin pods and the EDI. I want to set those up maybe in that gated area over there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He left us. We weren't paying
Goodbye,
attention.
Walter.
Or Edwin.
Or Edwin.
Yeah, what it was.
Do you guys want something to eat one of the pods?
When we get over that gated area.
Oh, okay.
We set up the EDI right there. That will be recording 5 levels of barometric, air, pressure, yeah, that's barometric Dutch. Humidity, temperature, EMF, and vibration.
All right, I'm going to use these dowsing rods, and I'm going to hold them as level as I can, and we're going to see where it takes us. So if there's any spirits here, feel free to use these rods. You can cross them or point them in the direction you'd like us to go. I'm just pointing this way. Or I'm just going to walk this way. Keeps pointing this way. Oh, okay, it's not going this way. These things also pick up on water. Okay, they're really spinning around now. They're pointing over there. That's where Dutch and Lauren are right now. It's pretty weird.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So, I'll walk over here. Okay, yeah, it's pointing that way. Yeah, they're both pointing.
Very much.
They're kind of actually. Oh. All right. Yeah, I don't know why they do this. It's weird. So yeah, if you're trying to interact with me, point both the rods in the same direction. Yeah, I don't know if it's because of what they're.
Everybody's here. Feel free to communicate with us.
All right. Well, it might just be a little interference with what they're doing. So we're gonna walk over here where we were told. I think there's a bit of activity in this area. It's sort of a hot spot where our interviewee said that he experienced some things. We also found some like sort of remnants of like a ritual or something in the tree last time we were here. So we think this is where people come and maybe do some different things. I brought some incense. I have some bones that I'm gonna kind of like use to just create a atmosphere. This is like odd 0 right now, okay? So I don't know if it's gone up at all, but it's actually totally baseline, which is kind of unusual. Usually there's something, so this is kind of interesting that it's at just totally a 0 right now, but it might actually be over here.
I think so.
I wonder if it was that one or that one where they were, I'm not sure if they're at the right one, but.
Yeah, I felt like it was this one.
This one, yeah.
I could be wrong though.
It's definitely like pretty cold out right now.
Yeah, it's a little cold.
Like, I feel like we're gonna know it if there's like a heat anomaly. It'd be like, oh yeah, it's warm. Yeah, this is the tree where I think we saw like a little idol or some sort of something.
Like an effigy or...
Exactly, yeah. It was like something that was handmade. Not seeing anything here right now. Watch your step. There it is. It was just a cross, I think. That's it there. You see it in there? Can you get a shot of that?
I don't see it.
Maybe come down where I am.
Oh yeah, there's a cross.
This is where it was in between this area here, where the last group said they had, I can't remember if it was like a psychic experience or something of that nature, but they saw something right here, and I don't know if it was, like a actual visual thing or a psychic thing. It was the Washington State Paranormal Society.
Okay.
That we talked to Bob. I honestly, my bad, I forgot to call him to see if he could make it out here tonight. But I'm pretty sure this probably won't be our only visit to here.
So was there an investigator in that group who had like kind of more psychic or abilities or was more sensitive?
Yeah.
Okay.
They came out here during COVID. Mm-hmm. Like the high part of COVID, and they said they didn't really get anything, but I'm like, I don't know what they were doing, but
except right here
we seem to be getting stuff
here?
already.
Who's here? Done. I can't read what that says on there. Maybe my camera can.
Oh, that's a stick figure.
Are they hanging out with me?
No, over here, David Gibbon.
Hi, David.
October 7th. This one passed away in 1903. It's a rather nice looking new headstone. Hi, David. I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell everybody else. Feel free to talk to us. We're here to listen. God, it's a beautiful night. you have a story to tell us? You made it just past 70 years old. That's weird. Oh, and he's gone.
All right, so whoever is here, we just come in peace, and we want to honor your life. And I'm going to burn some incense, as it's my personal practice to do so, as to honor the dead, and come with only good intentions. And we hope that you are resting peacefully. But if there's any spirits here who want to come out and talk to us, we invite you to do so. If there's any bad spirits here, we invite you to do so as well. Any spirits. But this is not an invitation to cause harm. Do you have a lighter?
I do.
Thank you. This is a REM pod, and it detects your presence. You can come over here and touch it like that. Just doing that. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
All right, if there's anybody here, you can come over here and interact with this device that we just put on the ground. Are there any miners who were buried here? Is there a presence that lives over there near that river? If so, why are you still here at this graveyard? What is the significance of this place? Place these bones next to the REM pod.
If there's anyone here who'd like their presence to be known, just walk towards our device. Still at 0.
Yeah.
The spirits are quiet tonight.
They are. They definitely like that guy. What was his name?
Oh goodness, I can't remember right now.
Yeah, but when he was here, I mean, you know, it just felt like there was something going on.
I definitely felt it. I mean, despite it being in the middle of the day and everything else, I definitely felt a presence, if not many, when we were here before. I remember my hands were all tingly and my feet, and I felt like there was kind of like static electricity in my hair, that feeling. It was odd.
This is a much more like just placid, like kind of feeling right here.
It's actually very peaceful.
this app?
I was just thinking the same thing. Do you have yours, or do you need me to get mine out?
Oh, we can use mine.
Okay.
It said 100.
100 what?
You can just press the blue button.
Yourself.
What about us? My name is Brad.
And my name is Carolyn.
Are we speaking to one of the people who's buried here?
Geek.
I get that all the time.
Deep.
Geek.
Oh, geek.
Yeah.
Object.
Object. Yes, we placed an object on the ground. It's a REM pod. You can interact with it.
Prayer. We kind of said our own version of a prayer with the lighting of the incense and the bones.
Yeah.
Legion.
Legion. Yeah, I get that all the time. That's why I kind of doubt this app a little bit, because it gives a lot of the same answers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the same words keep coming up. It might have to do with, like, me, like, you know, maybe whatever my deal is.
Your thoughts are infecting it.
Yeah, maybe.
Affecting it.
You know, that sounds pretty good, too. Ghost hunting tools.
Is that like the spirit box with the radio frequencies?
It simulates radio frequencies, and then it'll generate a word, and then it kind of like builds up to it a little bit. But it's just another word bank app that I've used. Has a cool graphic. We're gonna deliver your message. Coins. Yeah, we didn't bring any coins. Yeah. That's cool, because like you see that in graveyards, coins. Yeah, we did that in the last one. I forgot. I didn't do it. Was their doing. They thought about it. Maybe Dutch has some change. We'll leave coins at the end. But can you tell us your name?
Are you angry that we are here?
I thought it was just...
It's alright, we're all gonna be there someday. Oops, sorry about that, whoever I just stepped on here. Oh, okay. Hello, son. I stepped on this headstone on accident here, and all the sound went out for just a second. That was weird.
Really?
Yeah. Like, as soon as I stepped on the rock, the microphone just cut.
Oh. We got... Who is that? I can't read his headstone.
Is it the big one on the front?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Hey there, how's it going? Just want to talk to you.
Oh, that just happened again, too, when I stepped on this other headstone here. That's strange. Yeah. So who's here? Morgan?
Is that what it says?
Morgan, yeah.
Hi,
hey,
Morgan. I like that. It's a good, strong name. And it looks like your whole family is entombed in this area. Do you have anything you want to tell us, Morgan? Do you have unfinished business that you want to attend? Okay, that is not an EVP. There's somebody clearly enjoying their Wednesday night.
Yep, someone out here cackling. Somebody alive out here cackling.
Yeah, that was a total... And now we find out it wasn't.
That would be dope, but I don't think that's the case. Morgan's still hanging out?
Yeah, he's still there.
Just gonna leave these bones in the REM pod there, so we'll hear it if it goes off.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go to this other gated area. Yeah.
And last time we were here, the ones that were kind of over this hill
Yeah.
there, I felt like I had really felt something over there that day too.
Yeah, I remember that as well. Where was this? I'm kind of disoriented right now.
Yeah, me too, a little bit.
Okay, so there's that one there. I don't know if maybe that's it.
Yeah, I think that is.
Okay. Wow. No, I don't think this is it. I think it had headstones.
Yeah, I kind of thought it did too.
There's that one over there as well. This one's pretty bare.
It is.
So you were getting results by stepping on one of those by accident, of course.
Yeah, so it's
let me
they're
grab the
little stones. They're like right here.
The little markers?
Yeah, can you see right where my headlight is?
Yeah. So
These little guys.
just to be noted, I'm moving the EDI, so you see me on camera moving it.
Yep.
And that way we'll know when we see those readings that that's why. Holy crap, it dropped down to 50.
And this is Mother over here.
You want to try to grab that REM pod? We'll put it over here on Dunn's headstone and see what we get.
I don't know if
It shouldn't be going off at all. Clear it out. Touch the antenna again.
Okay.
All right. All right. Once again, Mr. Dunn or Mrs. Dunn. I don't know. It just says Dunn.
We got mother, father, and I think son over here.
Good gravy.
All the Dunns. Hello, guys.
Oh, that thing beeped. The EDI.
Yeah.
All right, we got the whole family here. And we got kids. I dare you to come mess with these toys. They're pretty cool.
Oh, here's a car.
How far does that go? All right, so sounds in the background. Some people just pulled up in a car and they're talking and joking and laughing. So that's not an EVP.
Do you want to move on to a spot that's further away from here?
I'm kind of wondering what they're doing first because my car's sitting there. And... How's it going?
What's up? What y'all doing out here? Hunting for ghosts?
Yep.
Same.
We're really into stuff like this, so maybe we'll hit you up.
Yeah, all are welcome, just as long as, pay respect.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the one thing.
I'm Jordan, by the way. Dutch. Nice to meet you.
Noah. Noah. Nice to meet you.
Free.
Ruby. Ruby.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, so, we're just doing we got permission, so, yeah. If you do show up, just pretend to
Got it. Thank you. Thank you.
No worries. Here's our business card.
Yeah, hey.
Thank you so much.
I'm not, where is it? I don't want to step on it.
There.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
As long as they're ghost hunters and not opposed.
Yeah, all right.
They say that like temperature has a thing to do with it. Like when it's warmer out, you're more likely to get like readings and stuff. That might have to do with like the humidity, allowing electricity to transfer more easily through the air. Not saying what the source of it is, but saying that like, at certain times of the year, there's more moisture in the air. Right now it's like cold and dry.
Very dry and cold today.
Yeah. So
you can see my breath.
Yeah, I can see it. It's legit.
Maybe over there.
I don't think that was. I think maybe they were at. I think they're at it.
Maybe they did.
Yeah,
have it right.
they're still at it too. They might be getting something.
They might. This one's really interesting looking, though.
Yeah, it is. It's like all stone, unlike the others.
I bet these folks had more money.
Yeah. We just ran into another ghost hunting crew, and that's never happened before, so.
This is apparently quite the popular spot.
Yeah. So you can speak into this microphone if you want to make contact with us right now. You can interact with our devices. We have a EMF detector.
Is there anyone here who would like to communicate with us? Please make your presence known. Like EMF output.
Paratech. Yeah.
I don't know if one of these makes it say the words out loud or not. I haven't really used it much, just the one time.
Started scanning.
Oh, there we go.
Limping.
Limping. Are you limping because you're injured? Were you hurt in a mining accident? What is your name? My name is Carolyn.
I'm Brad.
Rage.
Why do you feel rage? Were you 15 when you died? Is that why you feel rage? Is that when your life came to an end, when you were 15? Did you die in a mining accident?
Feeling.
What are you feeling? Is it okay that we're here trying to communicate with you?
Nightmare.
What is your name, please?
Pat.
Pat?
Wow.
So happy to speak with you, Pat. We thank you for communicating with us.
How did you die?
Things.
Can you be more specific?
Saw.
Was it an accident? With a saw?
Two. Open.
We are open to communicating with you. Pat, is there anything else you would like to tell us?
Yourself.
Tell about ourselves?
We are museum employees. We interviewed the museum curator here of the Black Diamond Museum, where it had many exhibits on the mining community.
Yes.
Yeah, it was about you guys. We saw lots of photographs and recreations of the mines, as well as the train that carried the...
Breath.
Yeah, you can see our breath, eh?
It's cold.
The EMF is pretty stable. It looks like it's went up from 55 to 57 on there. We're not really getting anything on our meter. Yeah.
Ice.
It feels ice cold. My feet feel like ice right now.
Yeah, my hands feel like ice. Definitely.
Is there anything else you would like to tell us, Pat?
Hello.
Hello.
I thought you said hello.
Yeah.
Hallowed ground?
Witch.
Witch.
Oh, wrong kind of witch.
Yeah.
Almost got excited for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah, it's WH.
How long have you been here, Pat?
Paint.
Were you a painter? I was painting today.
Oh, that's right.
Unlocked. You won't.
I will, if you tell me what it is that you want me to unlock.
Was.
What it was? What was it? The EMF on there is going up, like...
West.
West, huh?
That's my maiden name.
West?
Yeah.
Seven.
What about 7?
It's a magic number. All the numbers are magical.
They have their own special thing.
Yeah. This is west. We're pretty much facing west, so...
You.
That could be why it said that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I had a placebo on the ovilus and now fear. Intention. Our intentions are to connect with the spirits who have departed.
Kicking.
Brass. I don't know. Kicking. We're getting a lot of activity right here.
Yeah, we are.
On these devices.
And of course, some of it we can find relatable things, but some of it is not as much.
Yeah. Well, we got a name, which is nice. It's always good when you get a name.
Yes, when you ask for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right when you ask for it, yeah. That was definitely kind of creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Fear.
Yeah?
Fear. It just said fear on mine.
Wow.
Yeah. We're not afraid.
No, we're curious. Is there anything else you would like us?
Voices.
Yes, there are other voices here. Human voices or voices of the departed?
Do you know that you're dead?
Send us.
Send you where?
Are you trapped here? Or did you choose to be here? How long have you been here?
Otter.
That's like, it could be like Otto, I don't know.
Maybe. Is there anyone besides Pat? Heat?
I wish.
Yeah. It is very cold.
Let's mosey on. We'll return to this spot.
Thank you, Pat.
Down.
What did it say?
Docked.
Docked. We're undocking.
Scanning stop.
Try to meet up with Dutch and Lauren. They're up over there. I guess those other people left.
Can you shine this way a little bit?
Yeah.
No, it was mainly this spot.
It was, yeah. I remember that. And that's where we kind of like got all that activity right there on their devices. So that's interesting.
Especially the ones that legitimately answered the questions we were asking.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So I think we had a 15-year-old minor named Pat who was
I don't know if he was
killed.
15.
Maybe they went to work in the mines very young back then.
Really?
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
I can't imagine a 15-year-old dying in a mining accident. That would
We'll
just
have to
be.
do a little bit more investigation and see.
Yeah. Well, there's a plethora of it though. I mean, that museum, you know, they've got archives with all kinds of data on like the people who died and what their, you know, or all that interesting information.
And it may not have been a mining accident. He did say something about a saw.
Oh yeah. Well, there's also lumber is a big thing out here. All these trees are prime for that, especially back in the day. That's what this part of the country was known for.
Yes.
That's our Lauren. We were alone.
How's it going, guys?
Oh, we're having a hoot. This thing's been going crazy. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I walked away and all of a sudden all the lights went off and I come back and they're like, nope, not talking to him.
So, what are the readings that you've been noticing on this thing?
The blue section, which I'm pretty sure that's the EMF, the spike.
Maybe like a radio or something.
They came from over here.
Huh.
You said
because you can hear when you go over there, you can hear. But I think it's just somebody over there. Like, because it just sounds like a radio or something. So they probably just watch me fez, but whatever.
So I'm a little bit freaked out. She's right. It could be a perfectly logical explanation, but we are out here in the middle of nowhere and the call of nature and everything. So I went over that way, very near the fence line, by a tree. And as I was getting ready to do what I needed to do, I saw somebody walking from over in here towards those big trees right there. And I thought it was Lauren, and so I kind of went further around the trees so as not to have to be spotted.
Did you see him on like the right side? Because I also saw somebody walk that way, but I thought it was you walking that way.
Okay, maybe, but I swore it was like this pathway right here.
Yeah, that's the same that I saw.
So maybe they came up from there, and that's why you didn't see him here.
So there was a guy?
It was a person.
I mean, it was a human-shaped figure.
Yes, let's say that. We do not know exactly what it was.
A genderless figure.
But there was a human-shaped figure walking through here. Yet she didn't see him come through here. And I thought it was her. So when I was coming back and she said, Carolyn, and I said, yeah, it kind of freaked me out because I thought she was already over there in those trees.
Right.
Whew. Maybe weird, maybe not.
What do you make of all this, Lauren? Is it freaky?
I mean, it could be anything. Anyone.
Yeah.
We've already seen other people lurking around here, so.
Yeah.
It's possible. It just kind of weirds me out that it really looked like they came from right over here where you guys were.
Yeah.
I walked straight that way.
Yeah, because when I first saw it, it was like kind of a little past like where that tree was. So that's why I thought it was you, because you would walk off like in that direction. Yeah.
Interesting, either way.
You get it?
Is it okay?
Yeah. It was totally fine. And it tried to do a head.
Have you picked up anything else on there?
I think it's getting headstones.
You've seen some other headstones?
Yeah, that kind of come alive, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know if that's, accurate. So then, of course, it just tried to take a header.
It's heavy, So we're about to wrap up this investigation, you guys. We're gonna do a little Estes session here. I'm gonna use these headphones. I'm gonna plug into this spirit box, which scans radio frequencies. The other members of the night crew are gonna ask some questions. This is a soldier's memorial, so maybe ask some questions about, military.
Now, you know this, Lauren,
Yeah.
Carolyn. When we're asking the questions, just keep it a nice, even tone so that hopefully he doesn't hear it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have it pretty loud, so. But, yeah, Dutch is ex-military, so if you want to talk to him, he knows what it's all about.
Can you hear me, Red?
Deborah.
What did it say?
Deborah. Do you want to communicate with us, Deborah?
That's my wife's name.
Across.
Across where?
There.
There?
Tell us where you want to go.
Horses.
There's more.
Can you hear me, Brad? Is there anyone here?
Dash.
Dash. Please tell us your name. Can you tell us why you're here?
Over.
No.
Over where?
Feel. Your.
Communicate through Brad. He's here. He's your conduit.
We're gonna.
Evolution.
Who would like to speak to us? How did you die?
Ryan.
Ryan wants to speak to us?
What do you want us to know?
Intention.
What are your intentions?
My heart from the neck.
What about your neck?
Maybe.
Did you have an injury to your neck? Or to your heart?
Hello.
I'm dead.
How did you die?
Zero.
You're freezing.
Why are you still here?
Nick.
Nick? Is Nick here with Ryan? Or is Nick the reason you're still here?
Kicking.
Was someone kicking you when they injured your neck or your heart?
Sad.
It is sad that you were injured and died. Why haven't you moved on?
Secret.
It's a secret? Can you share that secret with me?
Lily.
Who is Lily? Is that who the secret is about? Was Lily your secret love?
Jam.
Is there a love triangle between Nick, Ryan, and Lily? Is that why you died?
Dirt.
Form.
Are you freezing in the dirt?
Like, don't hurt me or something.
We're not here to hurt you.
Remote.
We're trying to understand.
We want to know your story.
Tunnel.
With you.
With you? Yes, we're happy you're with us and communicating with us. Thank you.
Okay, at first I thought it was Brad
Idea.
breathing out, but there was a whole shit ton of ecto all around.
No, we
me that
don't.
went away.
Means I know.
See, I can see his breath. But what was around him
Difficult.
before that was all around him.
Need.
What do you need?
And it's back again.
Couldn't say.
Why can't you say what you need? Is it because it's a secret?
Voices.
What voices are you hearing?
Friends.
Yes, we are your friends.
Instead.
839 number.
How old were you when you died?
Kick.
19.
Kicked again.
Hold your breath. 19.
Good.
That's an awful young age.
Once.
Your recorder's still going over there, Lauren?
Yep.
Year.
What year did you die?
Inner.
Were you the smoke that was surrounding Brad?
Play a lot of Eminem on the radio out here. It's kind of cool. Millions.
Severe.
What was
Vagabonds.
Did you travel a lot? Is that why you were a vagabond?
Copycat.
Were you in the military when you were traveling and being a vagabond?
Nod.
Nod, like yes.
That's one way to get the answer.
All right.
Field.
Freezing?
Yeah.
You were in the
It
field.
was just really cold. My hands hurt. So
we got some interesting things. I don't know if you heard me. You had a whole smoke cloud around you.
What?
You had a whole smoke cloud around you, and at first I thought it was your breath.
Yeah.
But I could see your breath go like this, come out and go away. This was all
Smoke cloud
around you, which would be called ecto.
I got an ectoplasm. That's called my astral body.
You've been slimed.
All jokes aside, I did notice a bit of fog or mist in certain parts of this video while editing. That could be easily explained as being related to the increasing humidity, which I alluded to earlier. The humidity gradually arose as we were investigating. There's also a lot of fog in general, even low-lying fog in many areas of Washington State. However, I'm going to show the footage anyways, so you can come to your own conclusions as to whether or not this is just fog or some sort of an ectoplasm.
Are you freezing in the dirt?
Like, don't hurt me or something?
We're not here to hurt you.
Oh.
I'm trying to understand.
We want to know your story.
Tunnel.
With you.
With you? Yes, we're happy you're with us.
See, I can see his breath. But what was around him
Difficult.
before, that was all around him.
Need.
What do you need?
What voices are you hearing?
Friends.
Yes, we are your friends.
So, Carolyn, tell me about your experiences at the Black Diamond Cemetery. What was it like? What did you experience there?
Well, the first day that we went during the daytime at the cemetery, I definitely felt more of a presence than I did when we went for the evening investigation. My head was tingly, and so were my feet and my hands. And I kind of felt like my equilibrium was a little bit off. I don't know if that's a normal experience, but I feel like that's how I often in the past have experienced something. I feel it in my body. And I did feel that quite a bit during our daytime filming. Bob was fabulous and definitely has an awful lot of experience as a paranormal investigator. I was really grateful that he took the time to meet with us and talk to us. I would love to be able to investigate at the antique store sometime. I also think it would be really great if we could investigate the lodge, especially since they had a physical sighting. I would be really excited to go back there. I got a ton of responses. At one of the graves, we got several names. I wish I could remember them all now and it hadn't been wiped out. And if you'll remember, at the one that I felt the most strongly at, it seemed to be a young man trying to communicate with us. When we asked, when did you die? They responded with an age. I believe it was 15. And I believe there was something about the neck when we asked how they died. So it kind of makes you wonder if they were hung, if they had a bad fall and broke their neck, or what the case may have been for that. And then we got some really interesting responses too when you were doing, what do you call when you have the headphones?
Oh, the Estes session.
Yeah, when you were doing the Estes session, we got an awful lot of activity on the Paratech app that I was using. I got 3 names very clearly, the name of a female and 2 males. And when I was asking how they died, it kept saying secret. It was a secret involved with how they died. I don't know if it's just the romantic in me, but I kind of felt like maybe it was a love triangle that was being spoken about with 2 males and 1 female, and there being a secret involved. But I just always kind of like to fill in the blanks, so that's just what I personally came up with on that. You know, since I've not been on many investigations yet, that's not something I've experienced greatly. Now, in my personal life, living in a home that there was an awful lot of paranormal activity in, 2 separate homes actually. In the first, it was an elderly woman, and I always got that sense of like, kind of like a grandma type presence. I don't know if it's because it was a very peaceful presence. And also we actually sighted the elderly woman at that home. And in the other one, where there was an awful lot more activity, it was an elderly man. And I sensed that from the beginning, but I'm not too sure how or why I knew it was an elderly man. I just did. And then when I found out later, the man that had built the home and had died there was rumored to haunt the place with many people that rented the home before I did. So I felt like my intuition for that one was spot on as far as being an elderly man.
Well, we did the experience there was you could feel like an energy in the air to me. I'm not empathic or anything or psychic, but I could feel like there was a level of electricity there. Going over the footage, there proved to be a lot of little different things that you don't see with the naked eye. I mean, when I was recording with the SLS camera, of course, I saw what we would call ectoplasm. It was the smoke, if you will. That's what I think they still call it that, but just a mist that was forming around you while you were doing your Estes session. Then there were, there are other little things that happened. You would see the occasional orb. Later we determined, through deductive reasoning, it was too cold for bugs. There was no wind, so I didn't really feel like that was dust darting around. There were certain EVPs that showed up. We've got a breathing sound on one microphone that when there was nobody around that camera. So I really feel like there's maybe I really feel like it's worth a follow-up, another investigation on a later day, So I feel like it was a worthwhile adventure going out there.
Do you feel like there's a mystery in Black Diamond?
A little bit, yeah. There's a little bit. I don't want to lay any conspiracies out there, but I feel like there's something that's maybe been hidden that I don't even think the people of Black Diamond, or now, since it's been so long since they were a mining community, I think there's something. Yeah. I'm not going to say what. But yeah, something's there under the surface.